Welcome invaders and Doom Marines to the Doom the Board Game tutorial. Doom the Board Game is a competitive, mission-based game for 2 to 5 players, where one player will control the entirety of the invaders and the other players will control a single Doom Marine. To start the game, we'll first take a look at the operation guide. Inside this book, there are 2 operations, which consist of 6 missions. Each mission will have a unique board setup and conditions to win, and the idea is that the invader and the Doom Marines will be facing off against each other in these 6 missions, and the first to win 4 will be the winner of the entire operation. If the games end in a tie 3-on-3, then whoever wins the 6th mission wins the entire operation. I've set up the board here for the second mission in the first operation, Molten Retrieval. It'll show you which board pieces you need to construct in order to make the board and which tokens to place where. If tokens are placed in a stack, it'll also show you in which order that they're stacked in. Just a quick survey of the board here. We'll have the portals, which demons come from, doors, which block rooms from adjacent rooms, objective tokens, which will usually be how the Marines will win, power-ups in the form of health items, grenades, exotic weapons, and other teleporters, where Doom Marines can choose to spawn from when they die. Other important information for this board will be the objective card, which will say how to win this game for the Marines and for the invaders. For the Marines, they usually have a more complicated setup in order to win. For the invaders, they simply need to kill the Marines a certain number of times. This card will be set off to the side so that it is in view of all players. The other important card based on the board setup is the threat card. This card will tell the invader how they are able to summon more demons onto the map. So they'll keep that card for reference close at hand so that they know when to summon new demons. I'll be setting this game up for 2 Marine players. Each Marine player will of course need to take a model, and they will need to take a Marine card. All the Marine cards are the same, so it doesn't entirely matter which one you take. Each Marine will also get a unique class. You'll take the class deck, denoted by these green dog tag cards, shuffle it up, and deal 2 to each player. Each player will then look at the 2 cards and pick between them which one they would like to keep, discarding the rest and returning them to the game box. These will provide helpful bonuses unique to each Marine. If you are playing with fewer than 4 Marines, you will also need to take squad cards depending on how many Marines you do have. Here, since I have only 2 Marines, there is a squad card in here that says Combat Veteran that is for 2 Marines. If I had 3, I will take Turning Point, and this would be passed around during gameplay to all the Marines. If I only had 1, I would take the Solo Operative. Then each Marine will need to create their action deck. The action deck that a Marine creates is comprised of 10 cards, 4 of them being generic that each Marine will have, and the other 6 will be based off of 2 weapons that the Marine chooses. The way that each Marine selects their weapons is by taking a corresponding token. Here we have 6 weapons to choose from assault rifles to combat shotguns and plasma rifles. Each Marine will take 2 that are not the same, and then they'll take the corresponding action cards that match their weapon. Each weapon will have 3 action cards that go with it. Here we have the super shotgun, and we have the cards labeled 1 through 3. Simply take both sets of cards that you need and shuffle them into your action deck. While the Marine player is doing this, the invader player is also creating a unique deck of cards. First, the invader will need to collect the invasion cards, which are the cards denoted with this magical seal back. He will shuffle them up and deal 2 to himself. These are the cards which tell the invader player which demons they are allowed to summon from which portals during the game. They'll pick one of the 2 cards and return the rest to the box. Then they'll need to collect the corresponding demon cards according to which demons are on the card here. The rest of the demon cards won't be used for this game, so they can also be returned to the box. Which demons the invader player has chosen for this game, and which demons they're allowed to summon from each portal is secret information that the Marine player won't know. So keep these 2 cards face down and only reveal the demons when they are on the board, so that the Marine players don't know which portals to be wary of, because they don't know what demons could be coming out of them. And then the Invader player will need to create their unique event deck. The event deck is created from 3 sets of 6 cards. The Invader simply needs to pick 3 sets from their collection and shuffle them together to create the deck. Each set has a different theme, which can alter the Invader player's strategy. So they'll simply pick 3, shuffle them together to create their event deck, and the rest can be returned to the box. Other cards and items that will be needed for the game will be the Glory Kill deck, which will be shuffled up and placed close within the Marine player's reach. The Status Ailment deck, which currently is only consisting of Stunned, all the tokens that are needed for the game, and the Invader Initiative cards, as well as 1 for each Marine that is also in the game. These will be needed during gameplay, which I'll be getting to in a moment. The last thing you need to do for setup is to deploy the Marines. Simply take your Marine miniatures and place them either adjacent or onto an active teleporter. There are a handful of unactivated teleporters on the board, so find the one that is active and place the Marines. After deploying your Marines, each Marine will take their 10-card action deck, shuffle it up, and draw 3 cards. Then you are ready to begin the game. A game round consists of 2 phases, the status phase and then the activation phase. Now because of this specific mission, at the very beginning of the status phase, this card will activate, telling the Invader player to flip 1 or 2 spaces containing a portal face up, and then summon from those portals. So the Invader player will need to look at their reference card and see that they have 2 blue portals which they can summon from. So from each portal they can pick one of the 2 available options to them. And so the Invader player will decide to summon 3 imps from 1 blue gate, and then another imp and a possessed soldier from the second. When placing demons, they can be placed adjacent to or on top of the gate they are spawning from. Now the Invader player decided to pick this right spawn when summoning from that second blue portal, and it comes with 1 ardent energy, which are these tokens. When they gain a token in this way, they can place it onto one of the demon cards that came from that spawn. This argent power is used to activate the special abilities that can be found on those demon cards. So he'll choose to place it onto the imp and resolve his summoning by discarding the tokens that he used to summon those demons, unless otherwise specified. So now we can begin the status phase proper by preparing the initiative deck. To do this, you'll take 1 initiative card for each Marine, and then 1 Invader card for each unique type of demon. Currently we have imps and possessed soldiers, so we'll shuffle 2 of these Invader cards along with 2 of the Marine cards to create our initiative deck and place that close by. If for whatever reason the demons were exhausted, either from previous rounds or by other card effects, they would be readied now. And then the demon player will draw up to their maximum hand size, which is always 6. So since the demon player currently has nothing, they will draw 6 event cards. And then the demon player can choose to discard cards in order to gain argent power. To do this, for every 3 they discard, they will gain 1 argent energy, which they can place either amongst their demon cards or place it onto their invasion card, so that whenever they summon demons in subsequent turns, they can take the tokens that are placed on this card and distribute them amongst the demons he is summoning. Once they're done doing that, or if they choose not to, then we begin the activation phase. First, we'll draw an initiative card to see who goes first. So we've just drawn the Invader card, which means that the Invader gets to pick one of their demons to activate. Now when they activate demons, they activate an entire type of demons at once. So they will first exhaust one of their demon cards, and then activate each figure one at a time. When a demon is activated, it gains a number of movement points equal to its speed that is on its card. So here imps have a speed of 4. So they can move up to 4, and then they may perform one attack. Performing an attack is the same for demons as it is for marines. Each attack will have a range and a number of dice used for the attack. Range is determined by the number of adjacent squares it takes from the attacker to the defender. So here this imp can draw line of sight to this marine, and the range is 1 because it's up, down, left, right, and diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that marine is in range of that imp. And then line of sight is determined by taking a line from one of your corners to all 4 of the defender's corners. If you're able to draw at least one line from one corner to their corner, you have line of sight. If, however, one of those lines cross impassable terrain, such as doors, walls, and this red line terrain here, then the defending figure will have cover. And I'll get to how that works in a bit. Figures also don't block line of sight, so this imp can attack that marine. They're within range, and the attack says that it is worth 2 red dice. Now the invader player can also play any number of cards from their hand, so long as they're not the same card, to augment their attack in any way. I'll ignore that for now, simply to explain the rules. So, the invader player will take their dice, roll it, and then see how many pips they roll for damage. The defender will then have to reveal their defense. To do that, they'll take their action deck and discard the top card. In the top right corner, we'll reveal either shields, nothing, or this dodge icon. This dodge icon means that the entire attack is cancelled. They have dodged the attack. For every shield, it will remove 1 pip from the dice. And if it reveals nothing, then you of course would take all of the damage. Now if a marine had cover, after revealing their first card, they may choose to reveal a second card. Perhaps the first card didn't yield the results that they wanted. So then they will reveal a second card for their defense, and they will have to take the second card's results. But that attack failed and they dodged it entirely. Now movement points can be spent before and after attacking, but of course not during. And the imp says hit and run. After you perform an attack, gain 2 movement points. So now this imp has 6 movement points in which he can do whatever he wants by moving across the field however they'd like. After one figure has been activated, they again get to do the same thing with all the rest. And depending on each demon card themselves, they can activate their argent powers whenever necessary by removing their argent energy and then following the instructions on the card. Some powers are activated before attacks, some after, some at the end of the round, some at the beginning of the round. It depends on each card. Fast forwarding a bit here, we draw our next initiative card, and now that corresponding marine may then activate. In a game with 4 marines, each marine during their turn may perform 1 main action and an infinite number of bonus actions. Now a main action is denoted by these large arrow icons on the marine's action cards, and a bonus action is denoted by this smaller arrow icon. The other icon that can be found on an action card is a reaction icon, which can only be played in reaction to something, depending on what the card says. So the marine will pick one of their cards to perform their action and play it. They will look at the speed and the range and the damage of the action being performed, and also follow any specific rules on that card. So here Alpha just activated up close and personal. They will gain 4 movement points that they can use before or after their attack and move 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he just did something special. He landed on top of this special weapon pickup. So when a marine lands on an icon like this, they can choose to pick it up if they'd like, or not. If a marine picks up a special weapon, they will take the corresponding token, placing it in their play area, and then take the 3 cards from that special weapon set shuffle them, and then place them at the top of their action deck. If the Marine were to pick up one of the grenades, they'd simply take the grenade card, place it at the top of their deck, while taking the token and placing it in their play area. When a Marine takes a health pack, they will simply discard it and heal 5 damage from their Marine. When a Marine lands on top of a deactivated teleporter, they can activate it, so that in subsequent turns they can then spawn from that teleporter or use it to teleport in between teleporters. But anyway, the Marine has finished moving, and so then they can activate the attack on the action card that they used. Following the rules for range and line of sight, they will take their dice, roll it, and see how many pips they've rolled. And then the demon player will reveal defense by taking their event deck and revealing the top card, subtracting any shields found on the card, and resolving their defense. The other icon that can be found on the invader's event cards is this special symbol on the top right. This corresponds to each specific demon's special defense at the very bottom. So here for a possessed soldier, if I would reveal that icon, it would mean that they gain 2 defense for that attack. But since I revealed nothing, I would then take 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, which would kill this demon instantly, removing him from the board. Since I no longer have any possessed soldiers left on the field, the invader player will take that corresponding card, flip it face down, and return it to the rest of their stack. Now the Marine player can continue their turn by performing bonus actions, or, since in this example we're playing with less than 4 Marines, the squad card given to the Marines says that the Marines may perform 2 main actions during their turn if they do not sprint. Sprint is the basic action available to all Marines on their card. Simply discard a card and gain 6 movement points. So if you don't sprint, you can do 2 main actions. But this player does not want to do that, so they will end their turn. At the end of a Marine's turn, they will draw a number of cards until they've reached their hand limit. The default hand limit for all Marines is 3, but since we're also playing with the squad cards, it increases that Marine's hand size by 1. So 4 is now the new hand limit. So they will draw 2 cards and end their turn, revealing the next initiative card. So we've revealed another invader card, but there are no ready demon cards for the invader to activate. So they have to skip their turn, revealing the next initiative card to be a Marine, and they would perform their turn as normal. Those are the basics of the game. Remember to keep an eye on this objective card to show each player how they're going to win the game. So now we'll get into some more advanced concepts. So each demon here has 2 numbers next to their health. The top value is their maximum health. You do that much damage to a demon and it will kill them. The bottom value is their stagger value, which means, for example, let's say we had the demon player have their imp in this position. Let's say it had 1 damage on it, which is equal to or greater than the demon's stagger value. And then it's the Marine's turn. Let's say in this example, the Marine player really wanted to get to this area of the map. They don't want to necessarily waste their cards performing actions to kill this demon because he's so weak and he's not worth their time. So this player decides that they want to sprint. They discard a card, and now they have 6 movement points. This demon is staggered, which means if the Marine player is on top of that demon while they are staggered, they will be glory killed. So with 6 movement points, we'll simply go 1, and whenever you move on top of an enemy figure, it costs an extra movement point, similar to difficult terrain. That means we'd have to go to 3, and we would immediately glory kill this demon because it was staggered. Whenever you glory kill a demon, you will draw a glory kill card, and you see that once you draw them, you will recover 2 damage, and then have this card in your play area that you can resolve at any point you'd like. So glory killing enemies is a good thing to do, It also allows you to not fully have to kill an enemy, but still be able to kill them by simply running over them. And then with the extra movement points, they can go 4, 5, 6. So they manage to cover distance and kill a demon and recover health and have a new asset available to them by simply moving. Another important concept is the concept of stunning. So this is the only status effect that is in this game currently. Stunned. Whenever a player is stunned, it's the same thing as when a demon is stunned, except for that the players will simply get this reference card in front of them, and the demons will simply get the token beside the miniature. So what is stunned? While a figure is stunned, they do not reveal any defense, meaning that you can do a 1-2 punch with stun. Stun a figure first, then attack them with all you've got. They can't defend against it, they're taking all the damage. If you are stunned and you choose to attack, you must remove one of your dice of your choice. And then after you attack, or after you've been attacked, then you are no longer stunned. It's a pretty simple status effect, but can be deadly in combination with other effects. The next thing we have are these handy doors. In order to open a door, you must be adjacent to it. Adjacent could mean any of these 4 spaces in front or behind it. In order to open it, you must simply spend 1 movement point. Spend it, you remove the door from the game. It can't be reclosed or anything else. And demons can open doors unless otherwise specified. And lastly, this is for the demon players. Do not be afraid to go all out against the Marines, because the Marines are tough. Killing them can be difficult because they can simply pick up health packs or glory kill your demons. But when you finally get to kill a Marine, they are of course removed from the board, and then they shuffle their discard and their hand back into their deck. Then they draw action cards back up to their maximum hand size. The Marine will respawn at the beginning of their next activation, and of course they respawn next to or on top of an active teleporter, and the invader player gets to take 1 frag token as their trophy. They need to collect a certain number of these in order to win. So if you have to kill the Marines 6 times, you better make sure to do that quick and often. And lastly, we've got the different terrain types here. This dotted red line is impassable terrain. You cannot walk through it, but you can see through it. Then we've got this blue dotted line, which is difficult terrain. You can walk through it and see through it. However, to walk onto it would cost 2 movement points. If you can't spend the points, you can't move on top of it. Then you have the solid red line, which is blocking terrain. You cannot see through or move through blocking terrain. Then you have walls, which are the solid black lines around the tiles. The same as blocking terrain, you can't see through it, you can't move through it, and it means that 2 models on opposite sides of the wall are not adjacent to each other. But that's it. It's an all-out war between the demons and the Marines, and only one will stay on top. You can be sure it will be a bloody, gory fight. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment below or send an email to cynicallyawesomegames@gmail.com. But that's all for now. Let's keep on rolling.